Good day, everybody. This is Francois Muscat here today, and I'm really excited and looking forward to interviewing a good friend of mine from New Mexico, Jukka Jumisko. What we're going to hear from him today, he's going to share some of his story about how he joined WSI franchise and what he's doing with his business. So let's get straight out onto it. And Jukka, thank you so much for making the time to share your story with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, yeah, I'm from Finland originally, and somehow I lost my instructions in life and ended up here in New Mexico. And I've been in USA since '99, first in New York, and then in New Mexico. I'm citizen of both countries, so I can vote and complain in two places.
Right. Excellent. So when you started looking for an opportunity to start your own business, what made you think of doing digital marketing and joining a franchise as opposed to maybe just running it on your own?
So that was a tough choice because I wanted to have my own business for a long time, but making the decision that what would I want to do was the delaying factor. And until eventually 2008 came and I kind of got in a tough situation that I either had to start doing something else or move back to Finland if I wanted to stay with the company that I worked at that time. And I didn't want to move my teenage daughters from where they had all their friends. So I had to do something. I went through and looked for a number of existing businesses from wedding photography to elderly care companies, made proposals or offers for some of them. Didn't work out. The numbers never worked out. And I learned about WSI. I did my research at that time. And I think that one of the things that impressed me most was that the ICs that we call with the internet consultants, as the W agents call themselves, they were really happy with the home office. I have a background where I worked for Exxon Mobil. I run Exxon Mobil's information technology in Finland, and it's a franchise. And there was always tension between the gas stations and the home office in Helsinki where I work. And now I read about franchise that didn't seem to have those issues. Plus, I have a strong information technology background. I used to run the Exxon Mobil's information technology. Then I was vice president of information technology for another international corporation. Nice. And then I was CFO and president of an $80 million business in New York. So I had a strong background, but I was excited about the internet marketing, but specifically it's an industry where everything changes all the time. So how would I be able to keep good service without having a background like a franchise gives you? That's why I choose I was interested in internet marketing, and I knew that I couldn't do it by myself. I needed background support, and I've been really pleased with my choice.
It's funny how you say that, what I didn't realize, I started way back. Oh, are you frozen there at the moment? Can you hear me? Okay,
so we are back in live. Back. Yeah, we have some issues, but we'll come back every time. Did you get what I said?
Yes, I did just before you froze, so it's fine. I can edit. I'll edit that out. So it's interesting that you talk about the learning that you do with this industry, because I started in 2003, and Facebook
again.
Oh dear, that's not good. I'm not running anything here that should stop me from.
Yeah, I think the issue is in this end. I tried to contact Comcast earlier yesterday, but I wasn't able. We were in a Zoom meeting with local people, and one at a time we drop off from the meeting. So locally here, there's some issues with internet. And then other times it works just perfectly.
I had a similar problem a couple of weeks back when I was here. I couldn't do one Zoom meeting, and this was with a brand new MacBook Pro. And it was the computer that was causing the problem the whole time. So now when you were having this problem, I thought, oh my goodness, has it started again? But I know I had it fixed. So
yeah. No, here it is.
All right. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. I'll edit this out. So we just finished that piece. So I'll start on the next question, which is like the biggest value that you get from WSI. But leading into that, it's funny that you talk about the amount of learning that you have to do in this industry. I started in 2003, and Facebook wasn't even started then, and social media, was not even around. And we just worked on websites and then SEO. And if I look back 16 years, what I've had to learn to stay up to date, and this, we meet and we talk at conferences. It's a real challenge. And I think, when you look at a business like this, you've got to love learning, right? Because then you can go. And you don't want to make the mistake of thinking it's a franchise that's just everything cookie cutter and it'll just work straight out the box. You can bring your own personality and your own style to it. So it's good to hear, that common thread coming through with, most of the consultants that I speak to. Now, you've been with WSI for a while. How many years have you been with WSI?
I've been with WSI since 2012, so it's about 8 years.
8 years, okay. So 8 years is pretty good because, you've gone past that first 3 years, which is, the critical time to, really get your business working. In this time that you've been there, what is the biggest value that you see, belonging to, I call it the network more than just a franchise?
Yeah, I would call it network because create friendships like you and I have got a lot of good friendships out of this, and we help each other, and we help. The biggest value of being part of a network like this is that you never feel that I'm by myself. I call these local companies that try to do things themselves basement box, regardless of the size. How do they learn all the things? What we do here, you, Francois, you arrange training for LinkedIn and other things. I jump into those trainings and learn from you. I myself run training classes on SEO, and I have a lot of WSI agents learning from me there. So we all have our specialties and we share, and this is unique franchise. Even though we sometimes compete from the same clients, we still all work together and help each other. This is something I think is pretty unique for WSI, and I like that experience very, very much.
Absolutely. I don't think people really understand the concept. If you look at, we go out there every day, we have competitors, some really good, strong competitors, whether they're local or international. But, the one thing that we can do that many companies can't, we can go outside of our company and get help, from people that are better than us, at what we do. And it's just amazing how you can call on consultants anywhere in the world, and with online and Zoom, you can collectively sit with a client and give them the best advice. And I think I like the thing of like global knowledge with a local presence. It's just that power that we bring to it. That's fantastic.
My tagline here actually is that WSI brings the best global practices to New Mexico.
To Mexico, right. Yeah. Really good. So you told me a little bit about, your previous, work, in IT when you were there, and then coming into, into New York. So you've been around 8 years. You're doing some training, which already says you're doing a little bit more than what you would have learned right from the beginning at home office. And you're quite established now. So what would your typical work week look like? Because, when we start, we're in a learning curve and we, chasing our first few clients. But I think, once you get established, then you have other responsibilities to do, because you end up building a team, and, and it's interesting to see how people, use their day. So share some of that with us.
So WSI is very international. Exactly. Actually, you can choose how you organize your life. In WSI network, we have production centers that, if you want to, you can keep all your work to be done by production centers. Production centers take care of your clients, all the things that you need to do for them, be that website or paid advertising or so on. But WSI gives you also freedom to do all of those in-house or find a local vendor if you want to. WSI is very flexible on that sense. So I have organized my things so that I have some international teams on different time zones that I need to take care of in the morning. So I usually wake up at 6 o'clock, or I'm sitting in front of my computer at 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
And talking with some of the international teams. And then after that, I have my breakfast and I do some exercise. I may go to a hike. We have beautiful hiking trails here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So several times a week, I just put them in my calendar somewhere in the morning or afternoon, and I go out for a hike for a couple of hours. Come back and then keep on working with my clients, and typically I'm done around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I may go to gym or just meet friends and have dinner. I feel like great freedom on organizing my days, except that I've chosen to work with those companies that are on other time zones that deliver services for my clients. So I need to take care of that in the morning. That's
great. And it looks like you're enjoying what you do with a day like that. It's fantastic.
I love it. I love it. The benefit of being owning your own business is that you don't need to feel guilty if you decide to go to the gym at let's say 10 o'clock in the morning. Right. Why wouldn't you do it if that's the best time for that day to do it?
Exactly. And I've got that. I mean, I'm really, really busy, but we've got our grandchildren and our life revolves around them. My schedule, I get all their schoolwork, their school activities, when I fetch them from school, that goes into my diary first. And then when someone wants a meeting, I'll put it around there. Exactly. So it's amazing. If somebody followed me around for a day, they would see me maybe get up at about 5 or 6 in the morning. I do LinkedIn work and emails and stuff. I'll go see a customer maybe at about 10 o'clock, go watch cross country with the grandchildren or take them to music. And then, but I work later, because we here in South Africa, we're 7 hours later than most of you in America. So when I deal with the guys in North America, we stay up until 8 o'clock at night where we communicating with people in the morning. But it's such a wonderful thing to, like where I am now, I can go, not while we're in lockdown, but we could go for a walk on the beach, during the day if it looks good. So it's really a nice way to, I think, you freshen your mind and you have a good day, you can think about things. Where a lot of times we're stuck.
I leave my home office, or I have an actual office as well, and go for those hikes often. And there you clear your head, you come up with the best ideas for your client. It doesn't mean that you are kind of working, but you're also exercising at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. So in this time that you've been here, have you got any highlights? Because I've seen you, get some awards and stuff like that at some of the conferences. Share some of the things that you are very proud of that you have achieved here with your franchise.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, not the last conference, but the previous, I was awarded with the fastest growing WSI franchise of all of us. So that was rewarding.
That's rewarding.
But then I've also done some very interesting projects. Like New Mexico has 2 big federal research centers. And there's a lot of high-tech companies. And one of them reached out to me, and they had a very tight schedule. With 2 months, they wanted to create an application that calculates satellite temperatures in the orbit.
Wow.
And everybody who is involved had to be American citizen. So I couldn't use any international production centers. I need to source it locally, and we got it done. Of course, they have the PhDs who tell what calculations we do and put the parameters in. My role was to build the application for them, and we got it done. And with that application, they proved the concept, and then next year they got $3 million to make the next phase. But for that, they hired all their own team. So I was out, but it was very, very interesting project.
I like what you said in the beginning. You were the fastest growing franchise out of all of us in the world, right? And it was very rewarding. So you can imagine how rewarding it will be when somebody beats that beats that target, because they will also be rewarded with lots of money with a big fast growing.
Yeah.
Well done on that. Well done on that, because I think it's really good. It just shows that to grow you have to be focused on sales, and I think that's many times consultants who start here can get too involved in building projects themselves instead of using the network and production centers or a team. And you can get out there and build a good business, which is what you've done.
Let me tell another that I'm proud about, like different angle. I also want to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Not just going after the big fancy projects. So I started doing these hands-on training classes, how to build a website and how to do SEO for yourself. And I got a 60-year-old Reiki healer lady in my class. She had $600 to spend. That's all she had. Yeah. She didn't have clients. She couldn't spend any more. And but she was very avid student. She did everything to the T. So 5 weeks later, she ranked #1 for Reiki healer in Albuquerque. Wow. She was so booked. She was so booked that from there on, I kept on doing. I do quite a bit of public speaking, where I tell about my services and try to help give guidance on business owners. She came every single one of those telling her story. So that it paid back fantastic for me, but also it's a testimonial on that we can help also smaller businesses.
Absolutely. I remember something when I began as well. I used to work with some professional speakers, and professional speakers sounds good, but they don't always make a lot of money, and they make a lot, but for a very little time, and then they have to get the next job. And I joined the Professional Speaking Association as part of my own growing myself. And what I did in the beginning was I helped those professional speakers with getting ranked on Google as well. And I didn't charge them. I was doing it as a helping hand. And it worked so well for me because they always had an audience that they were talking to, and then they would mention me. And it was like your marketing money was just channeled somewhere else, which is fascinating how to do that.
Same experience as I had.
Yeah. So, you can have some good times, but over the years you can have some challenges. And I'm sure, like a lot of us have challenges at this time. But sort of what obstacles have you faced in your business? Because it's nice to say everything is great, but like there's times that, you have a challenge that you may be able to share with us and how you maybe addressed it.
Okay, so the first year was challenging. It took about a year before this business started paying any of my bills. So I started from scratch, knowing pretty much nobody here in New Mexico. I had been here for a few years, but working for a corporation where I did not need to do I wasn't involved in sales or networking or anything like that. So the first year was tough. Then you choose when you start business like this, you can create yourself a job, or you can create yourself a business. That's a choice that you need to do. And in the beginning, it's just a job. You are the only one. You do everything. Mm-hmm. And then the decision that I already knew that I don't want this to be a job. I want this to be a business. So finding the team, sometimes team members leave. You need to manage the situation. Those are challenging times. For me, I had because of my personal life, divorce happened same time. I gave everything away. I gave 4 apartments, house, savings, everything. Only kept enough to start the business because I believed that it's going to happen. And it took longer than expected. So I had a lot of like financial challenges in the beginning, but now I'm doing just fine. The hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's paid off for you. And I think it's, being, persistent at things that you can, work on and fix.
Yeah.
So you're obviously, quite strategic in the way that you do things. So what are the values, the best skills that you think you bring to your business? Because, people who will watch this interview might relate to you, and then they'll see, okay, I also have this, and that's what's important.
I think that the most important thing is your own character. It doesn't help at all if you have money, anything, if you can't build a trust with other people.
Right.
Because we are advisors. I never sell anything. When I sit in a so-called sales meeting, we go through issues that client may have and then discuss about potential solutions. Right. And then the client decides if the solution works for them, if they think that it's a good solution, and then they hire me to help them to execute that. So being able to create connections with people and then have the knowledge and skills to first find out what the issues are and then have the solutions for them. That makes or breaks the thing. WSI doesn't sell anything for you. You need to make that sale. You need to find the clients. And that's when I interview often with this potential franchisees, I tell them all that, are you comfortable being able to sell? If they are, then I say that you will be successful because WSI network will take care of the production. Right. Your role is to find clients, make connections, and be able to close deals.
And it goes deeper than that because I listen to what you're saying. That first of all, you said a few things like you like to give back, right? So one thing, you naturally want to help others. The other thing that you're doing is you are training and you are teaching people. Those two things, I mean, we have quite a lot of common in that areas in that space. I know that when you're educating and training and giving to others, that trust is built very quickly and they can see that you're honest and there's integrity in that person. And so you avoid that hardcore sale. So you don't have to come into a business and think, you get driven by quarter, to get your sales up the whole time. I think if you develop relationships, build a reputation, and I know like the way you're working in New Mexico and Albuquerque, you're the local guy. I mean, they know you, you become well known, and those are the things that help you with like your referrals, and it's just where the community actually, I think, pays back, into your business, which is really great.
Yeah, I agree. One way of doing the challenge when you start a new business is to find prospect. Yeah. And for me, it has been public speaking and a lot of networking, meeting people in different networking events. And when you go there, you don't go there to sell. You go there to make connections. So that's right. One of the funny things I do in networking events when I go and talk to strangers, I look them in the eye and say, you look like an important person. Who are you? And the reaction is like yours. Most people start laughing. And now it's broken and we have a good chat. Instead of asking, what do you do? You look like you look important. Who are you?
Who are you? I like that. I'm going to use that one.
Only once. There's a guy that was like a foot taller than me with a fancy, expensive suit, and I did the same thing to him. He said, yes, I am. Then I laughed.